you from the quarantine facilities in Perth in Australia. There is another week to go, and we are not allowed to leave the room, and we are not allowed to open windows because can't open them. So anyway, it's okay. It's just a day at a time, enjoying doing wonderful things. So I thought I would just come on here and say hello and just answer some questions and see a few of you. Hello, Alexia, and just connect a little bit. It's been a while since I've done a live, and yeah, I think I know many of you are starting to really struggle leading up to the Valentine's Day. Hello from Korea. So yeah, just wanted to be of a bit of support and to remind you about the self-love and working on the self and enjoying getting better at feeling good from within and not needing external displays of reassurance. Alexia, you've said, oh my God, I've been listening to you for years. You've helped me out so much. Much love from Canada. Oh, hello, Alexia. Where are you in Canada? I used to live on Vancouver Island in British Columbia for 16 years. Let me know. Hello, Florida. Oh, Toronto. Okay. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Lisa, yeah, it is quite beautiful where I am. It's a beautiful hotel, and they feed you 3 times a day. And yeah, you're not allowed out at all. There's 0 cases of COVID here, and they want to keep it that way, especially with those of us that have come in from overseas, which I've come from the UK, which is a hot spot. So it is about protecting, you know, this state and this country. I couldn't get into Sydney, so I had to fly in on the other side of Australia. I'm about 5 hours away on a plane from where I need to go, but I'm getting there, getting closer. Mac, you've said, I do inner conversations with my SP and self-love. It doesn't make me feel alone or distant. Lovely. Well, that's good. I hope you're doing more self-love than convos with the SP, though. Lay a good foundation. Most important. Most important. So. There is a fabulous YouTube that I've watched this week. I'm going to link it down below. And for those of you that want to watch something interesting. Okay. What time? How are you, Agnes? I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. All good. Thank you for asking. There's a few of you are out and about on YouTube at the moment. Okay, Jeff has asked, I've been having dreams of my SP for days now and doing more self-love meditation. Feeling first best. Well, my name is Jeff. Well done. You know, when I hear people doing the self-love work, it just really, it's just fabulous to hear. I love it. I love it. There's more people working on this, more people improving their self-love, more people improving, really filling up their own cup so then they can go out into relationships and give. And I think, you know, that is one of the greatest things to do. Hello, Miss Hill. I saw your little message pop up. So, you know, all this information about, for the last 10 months, 11 months about the pandemic, I was thinking the other night, you know, the real pandemic is people trying to get love from others. And it is so important, I think, to globally start to heal why we seek so much from the outside love out there, and to work on it so much that you are just a magnet for a wonderful relationship with whoever, whether it's a specific person or someone totally new, that you are in a really great place to attract that. So, Lynn's Candace, you said, sending love from San Antonio. Ah, I just received it. I've been watching your videos for years as well. You taught me the importance of self-love, and I couldn't be more grateful to you. Oh, that's lovely, Linz. Lovely. It's when I hear that, I just know that I've done my job properly. That is why I do what I do, is so that people can, it's that old thing, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish, and you feed him for life. So it's like, this is the stuff that people will go forth, and once you know it, even if you don't do it and you slide back, you still know where you got to go. You got to go back to self-love and working on it. So that's lovely, Linz. Lovely. AC. Hi, Agnes. It's T. Hello, T. You look beautiful. Oh, thank you. I just hopped out of the shower. I've been awake since about 2 o'clock this morning, and it's only, I don't know what time it is here, around 7 or something. So, yeah. Time zones, they make it fun. They make it fun. Mac, you've said, and yes, if it wasn't for you, I never knew self-love. Okay, I'm well connected with my inner child because of you. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely, Mac. Great to hear. So, Bommo Rambi. I can't seem to get rid of a fear of being used, deceived, and attracting narcissist from past experience. I started doing self-love. Will that alone work? Well, good question. I think it's, you do the self-love work, and when you feel more loved and wanted, you're less likely to attract those people, those types of people, as in people that just take and use, I think. So I wouldn't say it's 100% if you just do self-love, you won't attract a narcissist. But what I will say is, if you start to see the hints of one, as in you're getting to know somebody, and then you start to see that type of behavior, what happens is you go, no, and you move and you step back and you set boundaries and you remove yourself. So I do think that you learn to be more choosy, and you also see what's coming at you. So when you're not so driven by, I need to get love, I need to find love, who's going to love me, where can I get, then you are more open-eyed to seeing when a narcissist comes into your experience. Okay? You hear so often, oh, I saw the signs, but I kept going. It's like, well, you'll see the signs and you won't keep going. You get better at that, I think. Yeah? Good question. Good question. So, Kanisha, I cancelled a meetup with my specific person because he isn't wanting a relationship right now. I want to feel safe because I thought I would be more hurt afterwards. Did I do the right thing? Well, it depends. It's not one size fits all answer. I don't know if you were in a relationship with him before, or he's just a new SP and then you've wanted to attract him. So, there's factors that influence the answer I would give to this. So if you felt you would be more hurt afterwards, well, ask yourself, was that a good self-loving thing for me to do? And if it feels like it was, then that was the right thing. Yeah? Sometimes it's the right thing, sometimes it's not. And it's very individual, it's not always the same for everybody. So just ask yourself that, Kanisha, and see what answer you get. Bomo Rambi, thank you so much. That was so accurate from my experiences. I love your videos. They calm me and lighten up my mood instantly. Thank you, Bomo. Thank you. That's really lovely. That's really lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, Eileen, how do I get someone to unblock me from social media? Okay, Eileen, I'm gonna, you're probably not gonna like this answer, but social media isn't real life. Stop trying to get them to unblock you, because that's coming from need. Stop looking for reassurance. Stop trying to get attention. Stop trying to get someone to turn around and notice you. Okay? That comes from a not very good place. And when I hear that question, it's loaded with get. Okay? So have a look on my channel. I did do a playlist. It's called Getting versus Giving. Have a look at that. Have a look at another YouTube called Attraction versus Addiction. And have a look at, I did do some YouTubes about unblocking in social media. I've talked about it. Just put the word social media after my name, and there's a few YouTubes I've already done on that subject. So check those out as well, Eileen, okay? Work on your self-love. Why? So you stop that type of, I need you to unblock me on social media, okay? Social media is not where real life is, and it's not where real relationships are. It is about doing things in 3D in real life. Okay? So I'm always recommending people get off social media in terms of in relation to relationships. If it's your thing to use it for other stuff, that's up to you. But I can see social media does a lot of damage, and it's not the social media that does the damage, it's the people using it that's desperate and looking for attention. That's where the issue is. Okay? All right, Brianna. Is there such a thing as too many differences in a relationship, or can we manifest what we want and need regardless? I would say yes, there is such a thing. Why? Because say somebody is very religious and somebody else is a total atheist. Is that too big a difference? For most people, yes. Because if someone's very religious, their faith and their connection to Source, God, a higher power, Buddha, Allah, whatever religion they belong to, they will most likely want somebody that is in that way of being as well. So it's not that there are no things that do not break a relationship. There are, money can be one, someone not taking care of themselves, like they smoke, they drink, and someone else is living a healthy lifestyle. Those have been deal breakers. What else? There's some big, there is big things. Somebody doesn't want children and somebody else does. If somebody is looking to have a child and then they meet somebody who is definite they don't want to have kids, that's a deal breaker. So, can people change their minds? Yes, but on some issues, I probably wouldn't hang around and wait. You can still imagine what you want. You can still do living in the end, but if you're a woman that wants a child and your body clock's ticking, you cannot go against the law of nature. So as much as the law of attraction and the law of assumption and the law of projection can work to, as you send stuff out, bring stuff back to you, there are other laws, like the law of nature. In the case of a woman wanting to have a baby, you cannot go against that. Once you turn 55, 60, the window's shut. You can't have a child. So can you adopt? Yes, of course, and that might be an option. But if you want to physically have a baby with somebody that's the father of your child, that's a whole different thing. Okay? Good question, Brianna. Good question. Tommy. And yes, you're the uncle I wish I had. Oh, so not the aunt, the uncle. Oh, Tommy Dawson, that's funny. You give me a good laugh with that. Hilarious. Okay, my name is Jeff. I'm sending my SP a Valentine's goodies, but not from a needy place, more of a giving state, and feels nice. Good for you, darling. There's nothing wrong with that. It's coming from a good place and you just want to give and share, nothing wrong with that. And I can tell you, women love that. They love that. It makes them feel special. They appreciate it. They enjoy it. That makes them feel that they're important and that they matter. So lovely, lovely, lovely. Incognito Vixen. I plan on sending you my success story soon. Cool. Look forward to that. Okay, let me see. These are going quick now. If I've missed you, I'm sorry, but they scroll up really quickly sometimes. Ibanez, the whispering technique used to work for me like clockwork. Now nothing. Always done for my SP. Any tips for why it's not working anymore? Well, it sounds like you're needy for it to work. You can't get. Stop the getting. Do the whispering technique. Let go and allow. Stop trying to force. Stop trying to push. Stop trying to make it happen. Do your self-love work way more than the whispering technique. Okay? I want to say this. Now, I've done a lot of YouTubes in the past on rubbing out technique, whispering technique, all this stuff. Now, it's all well and good, but what I will say to you today, if you do nothing but self-love, you can attract somebody. Why? Because the resonance of you is I am loved and I am love and I'm lovable, you see. But if you're doing I wouldn't even recommend a lot of these techniques anymore because they're still techniques that are trying to get something out of somebody. Okay? Put your focus on you. Get a presence about you. Get a power in you. Get some self-love in you. And let everybody go from, you have to do X, Y, Z to make me feel happy. Okay? If I could say nothing else about relationships, it would be that. Get your foot off the back of everybody's neck. In relationships, I'm talking about. Okay? Just work on the self. Because when you look at what you're doing, it's this trying to get at the base of everything. Whereas if you learn to do your self-love and radiate out to people, it affects people in a totally different way. It brings people to you. It draws people to you. Deal with your anxiety, deal with your fear, deal with your unlovedness, deal with your unwantedness, deal with your I'm not important, I don't matter, I'm not a priority, I'm not good enough. Deal with that, how you process it. When it comes up, give yourself the space to let it out, okay? It's very important to process old stuff and not dump it on other people as much as you can. Now, you will do more and more and more of that over the years, okay? So, Bomo, from your experience, which situations does revision work for? I tried to do it for some traumatic experiences, but it didn't work at all, whereas it worked for minor day-to-day problems. Yeah, look, revision, sometimes I find if you go back and revise some trauma, sometimes the trauma is too deep that you just reinfect yourself with it, okay? It brings up the old emotions so much that you go back into the trauma. I think for little things, I think it's great. I think for medium things, it's great. But if you've been through some very difficult stuff in childhood that was very disturbing, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sometimes I find revision isn't the way to go. Sometimes I think doing some inner child work or doing ho'oponopono and clearing it, but clearing it gently and just letting the emotions come up and out, having a good sleep and saying to the God of your understanding, I'm giving this to you. I don't want to carry this anymore. Please, I'm sending it to you to be purified, transmuted, and sent back into the light. I find sometimes that works better. But yeah, I mean, it's like you got to try stuff to see whether it works for you or not. And good question, good question. Revision's great, but not always for everything. Dolly, what should I be doing in the moment when I realize I've attracted something negative I've pushed out? Well, you can do a few things, Dolly. You can script, which is a living in the end of what you want exercise. There's a whole scripting playlist on my channel if you want some help with that. You can do Ho'oponopono on repeat. You can do that with your eyes open. You can do affirmations, but I would do that last, because if you've got something negative going on, you've probably got negative emotion going on. So yes, you've got to turn your mind away from whatever you're thinking that's causing the negative emotion, but Sometimes going straight to affirmations doesn't work because it's like you're trying to cover up, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It's like the thing's too small for the size of the injury. And this is the same sometimes. Trying to affirm over something that's really traumatic or something that's just, you're really in a negative about something, it just doesn't work. So I find clearing the old emotion first, then you have a bit of a sleep. You let go, you relax, you release. When you wake up feeling a bit lighter because you've offloaded that negative emotion, then you can do affirmations, then you do self-love meditation. So it's a layering of doing things in a certain order, because I see people trying to do affirmations when they're feeling really needy and feeling really unloved and unwanted. Now, you've got to, I think, let go of the neediness and the unloved and unwanted process, let the inner child let it out, and then you re-input once the child's had a chance to let that out and let it go. Okay? So, Kanisha, sleep is so essential to break up the negative emotion. It is, especially once you've had a huge cry or you've been really hurt and you've just let it come up. It's like you're exhausted. Oh, hang on. I think they're delivering my breakfast. They're ringing me. Give me one sec. Hello? Thank you. Oh, my breakfast is outside. We'll get that later. Yeah, so, whoops. It's good questions, because doing things in a certain order I find is important because of, you can't ice a rotten cake, as I always say. Emmy, could you please give us a brief point of view on how you can shift into a complete parallel reality where a different version of you and your SP exist? Emmy, I know all that happens and that people study that and all of that, but I can tell you, hopping into that kind of thing, if you want to do that, go ahead. But then if you still come back to your needy self, lonely self, anxious self, it's like your body is a suitcase and it stores emotions from childhood, from stuff that's happened. So if you don't deal with that, you going off into a different reality, parallel reality, you still come back to this. You got to deal with the shit on the carpet here. Okay? So as much as doing that can be fun and it's jumping into something amazing, you can do all that if you want. But I can tell you, the people that I've seen that have the best success are those that really get to the grassroots of how unloved and unwanted they feel. So, yeah, I'm probably not the best person to, I don't go off into all those things. I'm here and now, practical, and deal with what's going on. Deal with your childhood. Deal with your pain. Stop trying to get love. I'm more kind of organic that way, Emmy. I'm not saying that stuff doesn't work if you want to try it, but it's not really my thing to go off into those places, because you've got to correct the relationship you have with yourself and with your inner child. Okay? Tommy, why, and yes, why do some negative stuff keep happening if I learn to not react? Because you must have some old thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that are a magnet to it, Tommy. So if you can work out what you think, feel, and believe about that situation, then that's a starting point. If it's about a person, look at what you think about them. Then look at what you think about you. Then look at what you think about relationships. Then look at what you think about women or men. You got to look at and break down the mechanics of things, and you fine comb through stuff, okay? So it's about believing that as a muscle. Well, it is about believing, but it's also about understanding what you've got going on that you're dragging from the past, okay? J.I., my SP doesn't contact me as frequently as I like and expect. Okay, and in terms of phone calls and plans, I always have to initiate. How can I change this? Well, Firstly, you don't always have to initiate. You got to stop initiating because you're doing all the work, and that's coming from need. You're trying to force it, manipulate it, make it happen. You can't be in that energy. That's all get energy. It's like being an addict chasing a drug, trying to force it, trying to push it along. So, Jay, you saying he doesn't contact you as frequently as you'd like and expect, that whole sentence is, you don't give me enough. You don't give me enough. I want more. I want more. I want more. That's like a child relating to a parent. Okay? You got to let go of this trying to squeeze people for more. And you got to learn to be grateful for what they're giving. And you got to stop overdoing. You're trying to control and force Jay and make this happen, and it never works that way. Stop the over contacting and initiating. You got to create a space for him to come in. Let things go. Let go, surrender, and allow it to take shape. So you're doing self-love and Ho'oponopono, which is great. Keep doing it, but you still got to change your behavior. Because if you don't change your behavior, it's like you're doing the self-love, but you're still acting from a place of lack of self-love, which is you're over-initiating. Okay? So stop it. Stop it and create a space for him. And say to yourself, he's not my source of love. He's not your source of love. Love is within. Okay? Srisha, and yes, you're such a lovely soul. Oh, thank you, darling. I'll tell my mum. I'll tell my mama. I'm seeing her in a week. EH, how to get in the state of feeling. I have manifested within hours when I accidentally got into the state. Now I can't because I try to get into the state. Just keep practicing, EH. It's practice. It's trying again. It's getting good at something. This is a skill. You hone your skill, you see. Hi, Shonda. Yeah, EH, it's a skill. It is a skill. You practice it. You got your whole life to practice this again and again and again until you get better at it. That's what's so fantastic. J.I. Okay, thank you, and yes, he's not my source of love. Exactly. Say, he's not, even right, like put an alarm on your phone and you go, say his name. Say his name's Jack. Jack isn't my source of love, I am. And you put that alarm on twice a day. So when you start having a moment, oh, he's not giving, and he's not, and he's not, and he's not, and he's not, you know, which is where we go. And then you go, wow, if he's not my source of love, what am I doing? What am I doing? He's not, she's not, she's not, they're not, they're not, they're not. It's a total self-centered, selfish state of being. And thinking that you got the right to try and get something from somebody else. No one's put on the planet just for us. They're put on the planet for themselves. And if you can be free and in a beautiful state in your presence of love, let people come and go. They'll want to be around you. You know, it's dropping the entitlement if you've got any. Okay, Fiorella, how to increase the faith in your wish? Lovely question. Living in the end, Fiorella. Giving thanks in advance. Thank you for my wonderful new job. Thank you for my beautiful colleagues. Thank you for, you know, $1,000 a day. Thank you for my fabulous relationship. It gets better and better, and I love how we understand each other. This is the best relationship I've ever had. This is the best financial day of my life. Stuff like that. Get into those type of affirmations. So you've said affirmations in repetition. Yes, until it becomes natural to believe. Yes, it is that, but you've got to clear the old stuff underneath, because I see a lot of people are trying to affirm over the top of old beliefs. So you got to shift your thinking, but then you got to clear all the old stuff that comes from childhood, you see. So, Himadri, ma'am, can I use Ho'oponopono for revision? No, they're separate, Himadri. Ho'oponopono is 4 statements to clear the part of you that's got that in front of them, whatever that is that's not to your liking. Revision is about going back in time, and when something started to go wrong, it's like you cut the piece of film and you inject you edit it, and then you put the new piece in, so then you watch the movie where you would have liked it to go. So, for example, say you had a big argument with somebody in a romantic relationship, and it might have been last week, it might have been last year. What you do is you go back to the moment just before the argument, and then you change the conversation how you would have liked it to have gone, and you revise it that way again, again, again. And what revision is to do is to unhook you from the emotional negative response or negative feeling that you've got today about it. That's what revision is for. Ho'oponopono is you're clearing the old stuff from childhood, or you're clearing the old stuff, say something's happened now and it's affected you, you're clearing what's going on now. Yeah? So, Tommy, I think when someone has a type of face, they will hate me for my face. I don't really know what that means, Tommy. You're going to have to explain it a bit more. Okay, IOT. I feel all right during the day, but when I wake up, I feel so down and want to contact my ex, and I'm wondering what should I do to wake up feeling all right? Well, I find what you put into your head first thing in the morning, as in what you do when you first wake up. I find if you wake up, you're still a bit tired, but you're laying in bed, just repeating Ho'oponopono to start your day, it intercepts and stops any negative, repetitive, habitual thinking. Okay? So you're saying you feel down and you want to contact your ex, tells you that you think that if I contact him and I get some love from over there, then that will stop me feeling down here and now. And again, remind yourself that person is not your source of love. Do not put that burden on them. Okay? You work on I am love, I'm important, I matter, I'm good enough, I'm good enough. Now you can do 50 of each of those. I'm just giving you 2 because it gives you a little cross section, but all of this work, all of this relationship trouble, all of this relationship pain, all of this suffering comes from thinking love is over there still. So for those of you that want to watch some interesting stuff, Michael Singer on YouTube, he talks a lot about, the mind and the suffering and all of that. So yeah, have a look at Michael Singer. And he wrote the book, The Untethered Soul and Surrender Experiment, and they're really good too. Okay? So you've got to remind yourself over and over, love isn't over there, love isn't over there. It's just not. I am love. Not even I am loved, not even I am wanted, because that implies it's from somebody else, you see. But it's I am love. Right here, right now, I can access it. I don't need anyone to make me feel better. I don't need love from someone else to feel good. I don't need, and if I do, that tells me that I'm not good at managing my own self yet. But I can practice and get better at it. Okay? Jay Green, what are your tips for removing a third party? Should we intend they leave or ignore them and act like they're not there? Well, the first tip would be to change whatever negative emotion you have. Okay? So, if it brings up fear, anxiety, pain, feeling not good enough, feeling that you're not a priority, feeling second best, you have to deal with that. How do you deal with it? You work on self-love meditations. You work on self-love meditations with affirmations. You start to create a presence in you. You remove the desperation. You remove the anxiety. You remove the insecurity. That's the first thing you've got to work on, because that person isn't making you feel that. You are making you feel that. You could feel secure and there could be a third party. I know that that's highly unlikely because most people, when there's a third party, they freak out and they go into I'm second best. But if you really do the work and you use that situation to really build yourself from the inside and go, you know what? They do not live rent-free in my head. It's me that's allowing them there. So get out, and I'm working on it. So you work on, firstly, your thoughts about you. Then, if you want to do a rubbing out, you can. If you want to practice with whispering technique, you can. But I would use that sparingly. I would use at least out of 75% of the time, I would do deep self-love work to unhook yourself from that being important. Okay? And when you do, and your desperation, your neediness goes, third parties often disappear because it was the fear in the first place that brought it in, you see. So, I am first best. I am love. If you want to use I am wanted, you can. I'm important, I matter, because I think a lot of people do feel when there's a third party that they don't matter. So that's a big one. I matter. And I am good enough, and I am secure. And I am love. Power up. Get the presence of you back. And screw what other people are doing. That's the work between you and you. Once you do that, the outside situation, will change. Or you'll attract someone amazing and you'll go, God, why did I want that person? This person's so much better. Things shift on the outside, but you've got to let go of control. We don't have control anyway. We can influence through the power of the work we do on ourselves as to what we project out and then what comes back. But ultimately, we don't have a control. And, I know in law of attraction circles, it's the illusion of control is there when you hear certain people talk about it. But there is no control, because if there was, there wouldn't even be people watching YouTubes about how to manifest a specific person, because you'd be able to do it. If you could control people, we wouldn't even need to have YouTubes about it. So the fact shows us that we cannot control, but we can influence from a very, very good positive state. Okay, so let me just see. Faith, you asked a question as well. Finally seeing my ex-husband, how can I be okay seeing him knowing that he's remarried and knowing our daughter will spend time with his new wife? Yeah, that's not the easiest, Faith, is it? Not the easiest at all. But you can definitely make it a lot more comfortable by getting to the place where you process whatever emotions you have. And it's going to come up, and it's going to be, feeling second best, feeling not good enough, feeling I got left behind, feeling he didn't choose me, and our daughter will spend time, with this other woman. So it really is, just working on the self and getting yourself into a state of peace as best you can. Cry it out, punch it out, yell into a pillow, scream in the car. This stuff, you need to get this stuff out, because it's high voltage, often explosive emotions, and it's very difficult to hold it in. Very difficult. So, this is one of those times, Faith, that you will need to train your mind to get through it. If you train your mind, then your emotions will calm down. But you got to work on this diligently, okay? And do it as much as you can. And keep working on I am secure and I'm loved. And I am good enough. Work on any of those that if you've been hit in the raw pink nervous and I'm not important and I'm second best and, he's left our family, all those kind of really painful ones, build yourself up. Okay? Build yourself up and, talk to the God of your understanding if you have one. If you're not atheist, pour out your heart. Share the pain, let it out, because it's like we become a pressure cooker when something like this is so, it is. I mean, relationships can be very painful when there is, someone's moved on and got remarried, and then, you've got these murky situations, and then kids are involved, and you don't want your child to be in the middle of this. And it's like a lot of this stuff feels like it's out of our control. But what you can control is what you are doing. Keep living in the end of what you want. Keep hopping into feeling as peaceful as you can. Keep working on I am good enough. Keep working on I am secure. He cannot take that away from you. That's between you and you. So build that up. Get strong. A day at a time you work on it. It's like you're building a house a brick at a time, and eventually the walls are all up and you have practiced it for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, and you will feel different. It's always with hindsight that we look and we go, okay, now I know why that happened, I remember when my husband left me for somebody else, and he was sleeping 2 streets away with this new woman, and I was laying in bed on my own. And I remember, having some very revengeful thoughts, like how could they do that? And how painful is that? And how could they do this to me? And they've got no decency, like I would go off on that. But in the end, I thought they will never ever know how I feel. They do not deserve to know how I feel. Because so often you want to vent it and let people know. It's like, nope, I'm shutting the hatches down. No one's going to know how I feel except for the people I choose to talk to. Now, I worked solidly on I am loved, I am loved, I am loved, thousands and thousands of times a day. Now, I was talking to my law of attraction friend this morning, and she said, do you remember how just after your husband did that, she said, you just worked on that one thing, that one affirmation, I'm very, very loved. That's the one I used. And I said, yeah. And she said, do you remember how much you transformed that? And I went, yeah. And she said, I walked into her place one day, and it wasn't long after, maybe 6 weeks after that had happened. And she said, my goodness, what are you doing? You look like you're in love. And I said, I'm just doing that affirmation and really working on myself. She said, who would have thought your husband left you for another woman 6 weeks ago? So it is, excuse me. It is a difficult and painful time. But I can tell you now, Faith, I can laugh at that now. It took me a while to laugh at it. It did. It took me a long while. But eventually, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be as good at my self-love as I am. So I thank him for that. He made me work my mental butt off. And that is the gift he gave me. Way more than the marriage. So I hope that helps you a little bit, Faith. I hope that helps you. And there will come a time, say to yourself, there will come a time where this no longer bothers me. And you say, yeah, I hope that's soon. And right now you're in the pain of it and the suffering of it. But say there will come a time that, just like Agnes laughing at what happened to her, there will be my moment where I look back and this will no longer bother me. Okay? Lots of love, Faith. So, hello, Agnes. What I want is wanting me. Shoshana. Hello, Shoshana. I just saw who that was from. Lovely. That's beautiful. Well, everybody, I am going to, let me just see if I've answered everything here. Oh, it's disappeared, everybody. Sorry. It's gone. Well, now, I am going to do a Q&A. I've just recorded the YouTube. I'm only going to announce one because I don't know where I'm going to be. It's all COVID test results. I've had 2 COVID tests and they've been both negative. And I'm in quarantine and I can't even get out of the room. They don't even let you out to exercise. They don't even can't open the windows. So there's very, very zero chance that I'm going to have COVID. But the Q&As will be announced as I travel to Sydney. I am in Perth. So the first one will be on the Valentine's Day, 3 a.m. Perth time. That will be me that gets up at a weird time, so it's at a convenient time for all of you. And I will announce that today. I'll upload it for the 14th, the Q&A, for those of you that just want a little bit more help. So, Humphrey, hello. Agnes. Agnes. You're a nut. Lots of organic nuts around the world. That's what I love about YouTube. So everybody, I'm going to go and do my exercises and do some coaching and other bits and pieces today and enjoy being in quarantine and making it fun. Rebecca, I'm glad you love yourself. Well done. Big hugs, everyone. And may this week be a good week. Well, what's left of it, leading up to Valentine's Day. Please do not use that day as a day to torture yourself and to suffer, but to make it a day where it's fun and you can see how you can give love rather than where you can get it. And nothing wrong with imagining, having a beautiful Valentine's Day, but not from that needy place, okay? Not from the needy place. Lots of love. And I will see you all in the next YouTube. Now I've got to work out how to get out of here. I can't work out how to get out. Oh, God. Oh. Well, it looks like you guys have got me for a bit longer because I'm on the iPad and I can't work out how to get out. What's happened to the usual simple instructions from YouTube? Humphrey, I know that's you that just messaged me. I will have a look in a second once I get out. Goodness me. Rebecca, you're loving it. Oh, for God's sake. Help me. Help me, help me. How can you... There's so few buttons on this. You'd think it'd be easy to get out of here. Here we go. Stop streaming. Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of nuttiness at the end.